We're live.
We're
Are you,
live.
are you doing your thing?
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Put them in your crotch like normal. I gotta hold on. Let's do this.
What are you doing? There we
There,
go.
that's better. What's up, guys?
What the fuck are we doing here?
What the fuck are we doing here?
Oh my god, I got a notification.
What's up, everybody? It's
John
yours truly,
Lange.
Mr. Lang.
Just
Yes.
went live.
Team Washlight, Bobby
hey.
Walker, Dan Plata,
Co-host. Oh man,
Echo.
black hole. So here's the deal, guys. This is bookkeeping. I got two phones to look at.
Yeah, I know, right?
Which
watching
dream
us.
level are we in? Okay, so here's the deal. This is bookkeeping, beer, and BS on what Team Wash Life and bookkeeping,
yep.
beer, and BS.
Well,
And Bobby,
no,
are
not
you
Team Watch Life. We're on the John Lange,
The John
Mr.
Lange.
John
So-
Lange, third person speaking YouTube
There's
channel.
a lot going on here. Are you sharing this?
I'm not.
Are you co-hosting?
I'm gonna
So
share
real,
this.
real quick,
Bobby's
this is
going to start sharing this.
for anyone watching this on YouTube. This is on YouTube to show you to show you what beer, bookkeeping, and BS they do every
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 around
Wednesday.
8 p.m. Central.
around 8 p.m. Don't bet on it, but within a 15-minute
Yeah,
before
plus or
after.
minus, give or
Yeah.
take. We got schedules to align, stars to get in order.
Exactly.
You know how it is.
So
Little kids to put to bed.
typically it won't be on my YouTube channel, but we're all together, so why not? But it's on the Facebook group Team Washlight. It's on beer.
Bookkeeping, beer, and BS.
It's on that Facebook group, so you should go
In no
like
particular
that page
order.
right now.
There is, just for reference, there's a peanut gallery in the background. So here's what's going on. Set the stage. We are live from Phoenix, Chandler, Arizona. Responsicon, the number one. Bobby, what's the tag? What's the tag for Responsicon?
ResponseCon is the
The-
premier sales conference for the service industry.
Kind of
shit.
like bookkeeping, beer, and BS is the Facebook group for the service industry bookkeeping thing. So, yeah, nailed that. It's not awkward, super well rehearsed, and yep.
Don't mind me. I'm just sharing this, so just keep
So,
talking, Dan.
Dude, Bobby, it's been shared like
Yeah,
29
so-
times.
Do
We're
better,
good.
Dan. Do better.
Yep. Bobby Walker, co-host of Bookkeeping, Beer, and BS, color commentator. John Lange,
Just here to be here.
just
Opie lookalike.
a fucking cool guy, and he likes beer, and we do some bookkeeping for him, and he likes it, and so therefore,
Dan,
he's a
you,
good guy
okay,
to-
I'm gonna
good
be
guy to
honest.
have.
You're boring the hell out of me. What
Well-
are we talking about right now?
I'm waiting for you to share
Right.
some shit, because usually you tell me I just need to keep talking
Okay.
until you can share it. So let's go. All right. So here's the deal. We're live. We're taking bookkeeping-related questions, but since we're at Responsicon, here's where we need to take this. Sales are all about conversions and your acquisition cost.
Wow.
We're good here. We're good here. So the topic today is acquisition cost. Uh-oh, that's why we can't have nice things.
You should know better than sit next to Bobby Walker.
We shouldn't have let Bobby be in the middle. That's where we went wrong. All right. So if anybody has a question about acquisition cost, how to calculate it, what a good target is, what to include in it. John and I were literally just talking about this earlier, so I'm gonna back up and we're gonna kind of talk about what we talked about. There's a couple ways to think about acquisition cost. What do you want to talk about?
No, go ahead. I'm just hanging out. Go ahead. Carry on.
The reality is,
Yeah.
it's
Let's talk about the reality,
it's hard to make bookkeeping an enjoyable topic.
which
to
is
talk
why we
about.
drink beer,
It's why
and
we drink
why
beer.
we need a few of us to do it.
Yeah. But especially when we got all these people trolling on behind us in the
We
background.
do have some things going on. All right, so acquisition cost. Two ways
But-
that you need to break down your acquisition cost. What's that? This is really serious business, Stacy.
I said
I
you're
don't.
trying to stay serious.
I'm trying to say it's really hard when you have Bobby Walker sitting next to you.
Hey,
I'm sorry, Melissa.
we're live.
sorry.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yeah, we are live.
We got like 12 people behind
There's
us.
a lot,
And
yeah,
they're
y'all
all like,
can't see
oh, we
what's
don't
going
care
on
that you're
here."
on the camera.
This is what's happening. This is what's going on here.
Yeah.
We got a lot of personalities
Peanut
that have
gallery. We're in the peanut
things
gallery.
to say about what's happening over here.
Why are you gonna-
All right, here's the deal.
Homemade tripod.
Guys, here's the bottom line.
There we go. That's good.
That's it. That's Stone Cold. That's
There's the bottom line.
All right.
Okay. So acquisition costs, real quick. Couple of tidbits. You need to calculate your acquisition cost 2 different ways. Bobby, like you can't just shake your head whenever we talk about anything serious, or it kind of defeats the whole point of bookkeeping.
I'm just
BS.
watching the video.
There you go. So acquisition costs across all your revenue. What is your total acquisition cost, including the spend on your ads, the spend on the person that writes them, and the software to make it all happen? The other way you need to look at it is incrementally, right?
Ow.
Yeah, get them.
God.
Show them what's up. The other way that you need to look at your acquisition cost is incrementally by source to create a priority list of where you hit diminishing returns. So whether it's Home Advisor, Google Ads, anything where you can calculate the leads coming in and your conversion rate on it. You build your hierarchy of marketing based on your acquisition cost per source, and you look at your total marketing portfolio to tell if your investments are correct and if you're spending the right amount of money and if you're capturing all the leads that are out there by your total acquisition cost. By industry, it'll vary a little bit based on your margin structure.
I'm Bobby Walker.
Bobby, what's your acquisition cost?
Actually, mine's pretty high though. What'd you say?
This time of year.
Mine's about $94.
That's not that high. All in or per a specific source?
What's up, guys?
What up?
Introduce
Bookkeeping.
yourselves.
If you want an accountant, where'd you go, Megan?
I'm
Where'd you
hiding.
go?
I don't have a beer.
Megan
I
likes,
can't be in
folks.
this club.
Megan likes. Well, I mean,
Short a beer.
We can.
Here, I
you
can
can
get you
get.
my
You
wine.
can get a beer.
Okay,
You
good.
can get
I'll
a
need
beer.
couple. Hi everybody. Happy bookkeeping. Happy
Yeah.
1099 deadline. I just finished mine.
Nice.
All right.
You owe yourself a beer.
So here's the deal, guys. Can I?
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk
What
to you
have
for
you
a
been
second. Here's the deal. Acquisition costs. Dan just talked for 25 fucking minutes.
Seconds.
Let me tell you what it is. You take your total marketing expense. You take your number of new customers. You divide one by the other. I can't tell you which one you divide by. I've been drinking, but you divide one by the other.
You'll figure it out.
And
if
that
the
gives you-
number makes sense,
If the number,
you'll know you did
yeah,
it the right way.
If the number's like less than $1, that's not your acquisition cost. But if it's really high, that's your acquisition cost. So
On
that's how it
average,
works.
what's a red flag if your acquisition cost is at a certain point?
Look at it in terms of a percent of your average job size. If you start getting above 30% acquisition cost of your average job size, so let's say your average job is $500, when your acquisition cost starts hitting $150, that's where you're starting to hit diminishing returns for most of us.
Okay.
That's the point where that marketing is getting a little too expensive per client, and you for sure need to make sure you're repeating with them
As I
to
said,
make it worthwhile.
that's only
Yep.
at that rate. If you're a third of your,
your
ticket
revenue.
price,
Yep.
it's really only worth it if you're doing a good job getting customers to come back.
Yep. There's 2 ways to look at it. You're investing in your employees' paychecks at that point. You're getting work for them. You're not making a whole lot of money, but you're taking care of your employees, and you're banking on future John, future Bobby, future Dan making money off of that client because they're going to repeat because you're going to take care of them this time. So
Yeah.
30% of your revenue is about where, and that's not your total P&L. That's for that next client, but that's about where you start, hitting
No,
the point
guys,
of diminishing
I swear,
returns.
bookkeeping's fun. You should do it on your own. Don't hire someone to do it. It's a blast. Isn't this so fun?
In reality,
Definitely need
yeah.
to. My beer got out of frame there.
We're,
It's
we're
pretty
not.
poor.
We didn't. We didn't.
Yeah, I saw this Eric Kelly guy just asked a question. It's funny because he's sitting about 6 inches away from me.
Is home advice? All right, time out. We got a real
Yes.
question. Hold on. Guys, in all seriousness, help us out here. So we got a question that says,
Hold on. We
This
got
is
a
on
lot.
this is on John's YouTube channel here.
so is Home Advisor worth the investment, or should my money be better spent elsewhere? So let me give you
Kurt Kempton.
my
What will
experience,
he do next?
and let me give you stuff I know from other people's experiences, okay? So my experience, I did use Home Advisor for a while.
Kurt, get in here. Get a little cameo.
we'll
Kurt
probably-
Kempton, everybody.
Kurt,
Yeah.
SponsorCon
That's
2020.
it.
What's going on, guys?
What is
What are
up?
we talking about right now?
Talking about bookkeeping
Home Advisor.
and beer and BS. Your favorites. All of your favorites.
Can we talk about bidding? It starts with B.
Yeah. Bookkeeping, bidding. Yeah.
Okay, listen,
Here we go.
the Home Advisor question comes up all the time. I think Home Advisor is as good as you make it. I know a lot of people that are winning with it. I did okay with it, but I have other lower hanging fruit that I'm putting my money in right now. But Home Advisor is likely to be a part of my marketing plan within the next quarter for a lot of other variables. So some people win with it, some people lose with it. Most of it, win or lose, is probably due to the business owner and not so much Home Advisor. But the bottom line is you got to experiment with shit. You got to try stuff out, see if it works for you.
That's where it's really valuable too to have your hierarchy of knowing where you get your best acquisition cost, and that's why it's important to look at your acquisition cost by source and your total acquisition cost across all of your marketing spend. But if you know your acquisition cost per source, you start to know when Google Ads stops working well and gets too expensive, and when it's better to start getting those Home Advisor leads. And it's all going to be different, right? Home Advisor, you're going to need to get, more leads to get that conversion, but the leads are a little cheaper. So there's a total trade-off there.
Kurt,
it should be part of what you're looking at, for sure.
Joe Shuttle says the proctologist handshaker is on the
Eric,
video.
you got to type your question
Remember
into
Joe
the chat.
Shuttle,
We can't.
the proctologist
or why don't you just
handshaking
come behind us
guy
and ask the question?
on one of your live videos?
That way, it's like part of the content.
Well,
Okay, so
not
with
he
Home
remembers,
Advisor,
so-
it doesn't matter how quickly you act on a lead pay service like that, where you're paying a high
With
dollar.
Home Advisor, especially where multiple companies are getting the lead, typically, unless it's a tire kicker, the first one to act has the best chance of getting the business.
So would you say doing Home Advisor is only a viable option for you as a service company if you have someone that can act on it right away?
I would say so.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll go type that in then.
There you go. Type that into the
I'll go type
comments.
that in there for
Type
the
that into the comments for all of our watchers.
Dan
All 6 of them.
Plata is a big deal. He's a very successful business owner. So everything
Not
he's talking-
successful,
Rollerbladers
and I'm
on
average
that
size. Thank you very much.
I don't know anything about
You
that.
guys are. You
What
got
he's
that
saying,
right.
he knows what he's talking about.
So, in all
feel like we don't
seriousness,
inter-
guys, we got a few minutes here. You got a bookkeeping badass right here. You've got an Opie lookalike, and you've got just like a really cool dude.
But I
A
don't
Stone
die.
Cold
I don't
lookalike.
die in prison.
You got all 3 of us. But if you have any bookkeeping questions, now's the time. Okay, right now's the time. I will tell you guys this. This video on Team Watch Life is brought to you by Journey of a New Entrepreneur. Go to
Always.
Which is also brought to you by Bookkeeping Beer and BS.
go to
Yeah.
nobitchzone.com. nobitchzone.com, or if you need a free month of Responsibid, go to jnebid.com.
That's a good. So, which reminds me, the first thing that I'm supposed to do that Bobby didn't do because he's kind of an average co-host. He's pretty good though, but did not remind you to share this, like it, go to Bookkeeping Beer and BS on Facebook, and ask to join. Check it out. We give content every Wednesday.
We've had about 5 people join since the video. I've approved them all.
I don't know anything about it.
A lot of people are joining it right now, actually.
Look at that. Here
Yeah.
we go.
So listen, let me do the talking here, because guys,
This is where the
Dan-
co-host jumps in.
When Dan talks, but when I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence. Okay. So in all seriousness, guys, Dan is a really sharp dude. Beer, bookkeeping, BS. Join the group. You can ask Dan questions right on there for your bookkeeping questions. It's free. Someone says, "What should you watch from your
Pat Clark.
financial
That's the man, the myth,
director?"
the legend, Pat Clark.
Oh, Pat Clark.
What do you watch from your
Can-
financial director?
Pat, can you clarify? Are you like trying to measure his productivity or what value he's adding? At what point do you need a finance
Oh.
director?
That's a good question.
Man, that is kind of a tough question.
Dan is the man.
So I think part of it is there's 3 roles that you need that I think can take you probably to 2 to 5 million depending on.
Time out. Hold on. You gonna finish that? Thank you. Rick. Come on.
I am gonna finish it.
Mine's-
You want me to like pour some in yours
Mine's
or what?
empty. Just you're talking in bookkeeping. Give me your beer. Thank you very
All
much.
right. So, I don't know that you need a finance director. What I think you need, I'll break it down to 3 roles, and it can be the same person doing multiple, but as you get bigger, this is how it's going to break down. You're going to have an accounting manager that does accounts receivable, accounts payable, kind of internal stuff, maybe enters your payroll. They're doing tactical things that you don't need an accountant for, but they're handling money. They may be able to pay your bills, collect on your bills, that sort of thing. You have a bookkeeper that is a trained accountant, maybe not a CPA level where they're like legally doing your taxes and so forth, but they're a business professional. They understand the metrics that you need. They can make sure that your business is being profitable and successful and teach you things, and that's kind of where we try to fit in. And then lastly, you need a CPA that can handle your taxes and make sure you're abiding by those laws and taking care of that. All three of those are totally different skill sets. It seems like accounting, seems like it'd be the same thing. A finance director or like a CFO can kind of fill the role of that bookkeeper and account manager, but would probably have those people reporting to them. Probably not something you need until you're between 2 to 5 million, I would say, where it like pays for itself and they can do enough financial engineering. Maybe your finance director's like doing acquisitions and like some really intense finance stuff. But for most of us, I don't know. And Pat, knowing kind of where you're at, you're maybe like on the cusp of that. It depends which roles you want them to fulfill. And it also depends on what you like doing, right? Like, you don't need a finance director if you like doing the financial portion. But if it's like the thing you hate the most and you're way more geared towards doing sales related stuff, you don't need a sales director. You can kind of fill that role, and you need a finance director because you're not going to worry about that. You're going to, export that out or delegate it. So
That was the longest fucking answer I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that's kind of how I do it.
Okay, so we got another question.
Here we go.
It's not bookkeeping related, so it'll be quick. So I think it was John over here asked, he said, Bobby, I just moved to Tampa. Things are a little slow. When do they pick up here in Florida? So Joe
said good question.
John, speaking from a guy that does mostly residential work currently, January, historically, here in Florida, is the slowest month of the year. We also get a nice little dip in the summertime. But February is solid. March starts picking up, and then we get the February, March, April, May plateaus, slump in the summer. So that's what you're likely gonna see if you're following the trends.
Oh yeah. Eric Kelly said, "Is that the same as a comptroller?" Kinda. A controller, like a controller would be more of a accountant. A finance director would be more of a. I'm looking over here because Eric's just standing right over here.
You said put questions in the comments.
Yeah, you did put it in the comments. No, it's a good question. So like a controller is more of like a corporate position where like they're your internal accounting director maybe. I view accounting as putting the books together though, and a finance director or a finance person is making decisions with the numbers. Accounting is recording the numbers, finance is making decisions with them. So
you notice that? No.
That's how I break it down.
Everybody,
break it down.
Hey, if you're on Team Watch Live, thumbs down right now.
Thumbs up the
down,
video.
Team Watch Live.
Thumbs up the video. You better be
Joe
careful. You
says,
plug your own
down the
channel.
line, he will be banking because the acquisition costs will drop. Yeah, so like just on that note, so guys, there's a lot of ways to do the business game, right? So
there we go.
So like my strategy, I do have a high acquisition cost, but I'm starting to meet some of my diminishing returns on my marketing. Mm-hmm. So like I've got a really high marketing budget right now, but my strategy, like I'm not taking distributions from the business this year. So what I'm doing is going real big on customer acquisition. Next year, I'm going to drop my marketing costs, but we'll be able to add new services and keep the business growing a little bit and make a shit ton of money next year. So I'm sacrificing some short-term money for long-term gain. So my acquisition cost is pretty high, but it's a part of my plan.
Yeah, and so we've talked about, we've looked at your P&L before. When you're in extreme growth mode, it's really important to understand. It's common that you don't make money on a brand new customer in the pressure washing, window cleaning, that service type of industry where it's not necessarily a recurring revenue stream, but it's one-time transactions and maybe they repeat every few years. It's really common when you're in high growth mode that you do not make profit the first time you service a customer. The cost of what it costs you to go get them soaks up all of your margin that you would have made otherwise, and that's totally okay. The thing you're banking on is that they're going to repeat and that they're going to refer you. So you have to do a good job to get the referrals and ask for the referrals and make sure that you're hitting up your existing client list to get those repeats, because your margin on that doesn't come with an acquisition cost. So it's okay to not make money the first time you serve somebody. That's super common, which is why it's really expensive to grow, because it's not funding anything. It's the repeat customers that end up making you a lot of money.
So what's he say? He says, if you don't mind talking about how you split up your budget, I'm currently What?
Advertising for
Google-
Google,
Google,
Facebook, and
Facebook.
next
Are you
door.
talking about marketing? But let's assume he's talking about specifically marketing
Just
budget.
sounds like it.
Yep.
Okay.
15%.
Well, yeah. So like
Revenue?
my marketing budget this year is really strong. So I'm going to spend 15% on marketing. But how I split it
I
up.
agree, Rusty.
So basically, I'm taking I'm going to take a small percentage. So I'm going to take about 3 to 4% of my marketing budget, and I'm going to try shit. I'm just
Do
going
you
to
guys want to go buy
experiment,
some more beer?
try
Hey,
some
guys,
things.
wait back.
But the
a good idea.
but the vast majority of the budget for me is going to be going to like I've got Google AdWords in my area. I live in a heavily populated area, so AdWords are a really good return for me. I'm also going to be doing some direct mail stuff, both through EDDM and through SendJim. So I'm going to be doing some things like that. Like I said, I'm planning on getting back doing some home advisor stuff because I've got a couple of sales reps, so they're going to be able to be Johnny on the spot on that. And then we're also doing clip flyers. So that's going to be kind of my thing. But here's the deal: there are tried and true things that work in marketing. And here is the one tried and true thing that works in any market for every person: is you get in front of enough people with the right message, you will have success. Now, sometimes in your area, there's going to be a slightly different flavor or strategy. So there's a concept called bullets and cannonballs. And this is where we can't give you the answer that's right for your market. But what you do, the bullet and cannonball analogy is this.
This is the longest fucking answer
so
ever.
I'm
I'm so
falling asleep
tired.
over here.
Should I go buy some beer before
I'm
Bobby?
sorry.
That'd be great.
If you guys would like me to stop
Hey,
answering a
we got-
marketing question.
We got a lot of people viewing. I mean, does everybody have their books figured out? Or I'm sure we
You're
got some
doing good. I
questions.
just wanted to give
I
you
know.
some shit for all of the shit.
Go on,
you
finish
give.
what you're
All right,
saying.
Yeah.
bullets and cannonballs. So here's the thing: you start firing bullets because they're cheap. Cannonballs take a lot of firepower, or a lot of powder, and they're expensive. So you start finding your aim with the bullets, spending a little bit of money. Try this marketing method. Try that one. Try that one. Once you get your target and realize, okay, that hit, that works, then you fire the cannonballs, spend the big money, and you know where your marketing money should go. Or
Yeah.
something like that.
You know what would be really a good effect was
like
like if you
Handyman.
go get us a few beers.
You don't like what?
So
He asked about a handyman service. I feel like I don't know.
yeah. So,
I don't like the handyman thing, but
I mean, it can be all right. It's,
All right,
it's a
so
silly
trying to
model.
start a pressure washing handyman business, what would be the best first form of advertising? Well, again, really hard to answer.
Hustling.
Depends. Do you have a lot of money? If you have a lot of money, maybe AdWords. Hell, maybe television if you got a shit ton of money. If you don't have a lot of money, door knocking, flyers.
Yeah.
If you have a
But-
limited budget, door knocking and flyers. If you have a little bit of a budget, AdWords is maybe a good place to start.
Yeah.
you got a
And-
big.
yeah, if you have a big metro area or something like that.
I think. Sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
Just
Do it.
one thing, food for thought. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to do what you want to do. You might have heard this before too, but people tend to like to hire an expert on whatever the service is. I personally feel like a handyman business has trouble sometimes because people tend to not like hiring the jack of all trades, even though it sounds like a great idea offering all these services. It's hard to train your employees to do all these services when you try to scale, and people tend to like to hire someone, specific to the industry, not someone who does everything. So
Yeah.
just consider it. But that's not even your question. So
So along that line, where I've seen handyman businesses work the best is if you can get a subscription model going where you're in their home every month or every quarter to do regular maintenance, which then allows you to get the bigger handyman jobs where you can add a lot of value, but you've built the trust with them, and maybe you have relationships with somebody that soft washes, and so you get the relationship.
As a matter of fact, right here, about 15 feet standing over here, is a guy named Joe Meacham, and he specializes more in exterior cleaning now. But he was doing a lot of handyman stuff, and where he's still having success
Get
with
in
that
here, Joe.
is with
Joe Meacham, ladies and
with
gentlemen.
a monthly subscription service where people are, what is it, like $80 a month or something like that you're doing?
What is it for?
With your
subscription?
preventative maintenance thing?
It's $425.
That'll be $45.
45.
$425.
Oh, 425. I
Oh
like
my
this guy.
gosh,
thank you.
Saint Eric.
So the person gets 3 hours a
Oh,
month
that sounds
with
good.
him doing
Rolls
work at
off
their
the
home
tongue.
for $425. So that's a really good thing to consider if you're doing a handyman service. TJ says, "What's up, fellas? What's up,
What's
TJ?"
up, TJ?
So, John, are you with Bob?
Where'd that go?
What's that say?
They messed up and forgot to invite me, so
No,
they'll regret it.
we don't let
Clip flyers,
long-haired
people don't
hippies
like littering
come.
on their lawns. So in terms of like how to market and what to market in, one thing, there's a couple key takeaways from what Bobby said. Your market is different than everybody else's market, except for if somebody's like literally right next door to you. But if you offer different services, the way you market is different. So figuring out, like, there's certain things that work well in most markets, but legit every market is going to be different. And so you got to fire the bullets to know what works in your market, and then fire the cannonball. The important thing is that you create a list of a priority list where, like, you know how much you can spend on Google AdWords before the return starts diminishing, and then you go to your next source, and maybe it's Home Advisor, and you spend money there before the return starts diminishing, and then you go to Facebook and you spend money there until it starts diminishing. Your priority list and your hierarchy is going to be different depending on what you're selling, how you sell it, where your market is. So shoot your bullets, figure out what works for you, what works for your style, what works for your service. Joe Rogers, what's up? Wearing a Speedo, yep, while carrying a trident. I'm by it. What are you selling, Joe? I'll take one. That's Joe Rogers. You bet it is.
Joe Rogan.
So it's get your priority list right. There's no right answer to what you should market with first. It depends on your style, your message, and your market. Shoot your bullets, and then start firing your cannonball and figure out where it starts to lose effectiveness, and then go to the next one on your hierarchy.
Listen, in all seriousness, guys, if you really want to learn like the ins and outs of this, you need to get the New Entrepreneurs Toolkit. Go to nobitchzone.com
I've
and
heard of
sign
that.
up for it. It's good stuff.
Or you should come to ResponsiCon.
Nobitchzone.com.
ResponsiCon might be sold out. It's going on real soon, though.
I hung out with Joe Shuttle 2 nights ago. It's pretty fun.
Well, fuck with Joe. Joe's a good dude.
Hey, John, when do things start to pick up in your market compared to Florida down south?
In a few months.
Yeah, no kidding.
When the sun
April.
comes out.
March or April. Yeah, last year was April 1st was the first good enough day we could wash. But it's been a really, really weird winter. So
It's warm right now.
realistically, we could have done a lot more work this year, but everyone ended up, we had a cold snap, and the people I had working for me are on unemployment, and we missed out on some opportunity. So I learned though, I won't do that again. We'll push it as far as we can, and wait it out.
You had
Ice
another question
cube a
on-
house if you have to.
Yeah, pretty
You had
much.
another comment. I don't know what it was on yours. Starting full time this spring in March, April. Freezing north. Is that what it says? Freezing north. Thanks for the encouragement, guys. You bet, bitch.
I'm in Minneapolis, so I was telling these guys we ice cubed a house in November. We washed a house when it was 30 degrees out, and we were supposed to do the windows too, but the squeegee just didn't quite slide across the ice like it would the glass. So we push it. That was a little too extreme.
It was the
but we
cleanest
push
ice
it.
in the world.
Oh, you could have made one hell of a cocktail with that ice. This is brilliant. Any other acquisition cost, marketing, spend related questions?
Or does everybody
Let's
have
do
their
it.
books 100% figured out?
Bookkeeping. Everybody loves it. Why would you ask a question when it's so fun?
You gotta
It's so
understand it
fucking
though.
fun. Let's go.
I have a legit question. How do you know when you should fire your bookkeeper?
So the question was, how do you know when you should fire your bookkeeper?
Or CPA, can we throw that in there?
Why don't you guys answer that?
When he is somewhat redheaded and from Minnesota.
Do you think I'm really redheaded?
kinda-
Plus, I'm from Wisconsin. I live in Minnesota. I'm from Wisconsin. Am I really redheaded?
I'm a little gingery too. I
You know-
own it though.
But seriously.
going on over there?
Well, I fired mine when I couldn't get straight answers from them. I'm asking questions for stuff. It took forever to get everything straightened out. And sometimes it's just, honestly, as we're business owners, we're new, we don't know exactly what we're doing. You don't know when you should get rid of someone. But I started getting very suspicious of mine because things weren't getting done. And like I said, I couldn't get direct answers. And here's what I do know. I'm now using Dan and his service, and once a week, all my shit's up to date. So
Same.
the person that works in my account happens to do it on Sundays. So every Sunday afternoon, probably around 1 o'clock, I get a message that says all your shit's up to date, and it's like, fuck yeah. So
No, it's usually like, hey, Bobby, I'm still waiting on your answer from that message I sent you 3 months ago about what was this.
so we're gonna do
Other
that.
than
Are
that,
we doing that shit right now?
But
Is that what we're doing?
I mean, we're not doing this to try to plug anything, but the P&L is pretty sexy too. That comes with Dan's service. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, it's color coded. It shows you the percentages. He's tailored it to power washing, so it's perfect for team wash. So
Joe Rogers is funny.
but exact percentages,
it's
where you're supposed to
enthralling.
be.
On
If
the
it's in
edge
the
of your
red,
seat.
it glows red. If it's bad, it glows green. You get it once a month. Super valuable.
So what I see, the most disastrous stuff that we take over for people is typically when they don't hear from their bookkeeper, at least, weekly. It usually means their shit's in a mess. And so if you're not hearing from your bookkeeper weekly and that they're not on top of it, I'd say you should start thinking about finding somebody that's on top of it. And if you don't get reports every month that help you make business decisions, if you're not getting a book, like your CPA isn't going to teach you how to run your business. Your bookkeeper should be getting you better information to help you make good decisions to run your business. That was cool. Gravity, it's a bitch.
That's why you need to invest in a tripod.
Look,
You're gonna do this the right way, Dan.
John, you're too tall.
It wasn't
Bill
before.
When you owe the IRS too much and the bookkeeper's trying to spend speed, what's
His
he say?
typing speed.
Typing speed
Two
is
words
2
every
words every 45
45
minutes. Yeah, that'll hurt you. That'll hurt you.
What should we
I
all
think
be?
so. It's similar to employees in that nobody ever said, "Oh, I wish I wouldn't have fired them." Usually, you always say like, "Oh shit, I waited way too long to fire them." So, in Blue Skies, we've made that
Somebody
mistake
around
over and
here is
over and
smoking weed.
over again with our technicians.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Those are the culprits
they
right
miss the
behind us.
bookkeeping beer and BS.
Those
They're,
two girls are there?
yeah, they're
Smoking chronic.
yeah. But seriously, like we've always found if we thought about firing a technician
it's
and we
the feet
didn't
that
do
smells
it,
like weed.
we always regret not doing it sooner. And I think the same goes with any contractor that you hire, or any service that you hire. The minute you thought that you should fire them, you should have already done it. And you're usually too late to the game to do it. So, this is going to be fun to see on the widescreen here. It's coming up.
He didn't do it good enough.
Oh, jeez. That would have been bad. That was a full one. So, not saying you should fire your bookkeeper, but if you're already thinking about it, you probably
Do it
should
better.
do
I'll
it.
do it for the vine.
So, AJ, what is up, my man?
All right.
What do you got? Any questions over there?
Joe
We got
says
two
you fire when
monitors
you
going.
can't figure out what's going on. So, true.
Yep.
Good answer, Joe.
Yeah. If
Wish I said
if
that.
you don't know what they're
What's
doing and you
Rusty's-
get the sense they don't know what they're doing, that's a good time to,
Oh, what's that
to
guy
let them
say?
rip.
Okay, what should we all be doing to be the best we can do with our bookkeeping? I say
Us as in first-time business owners, less than a year old.
Okay.
Jesus, Bobby.
I can't hardly see it, man.
You need some glasses.
I do need some.
getting old?
I got
You
my
getting
contacts.
Beer
in here.
goggles.
I mean, I think the big thing is just make sure you're doing it. Whether you're doing it or you're paying somebody to do it, like there's no size of your business where like, okay, now I should hire a bookkeeper, or now I need a set of books. Like from day one, like knowing your numbers and having a true set of books for your business is important. So it's up to you to decide when is the right time for you to pay for it or do it yourself or whatever. And so that only you can make that decision, but start now. You always need good information to make good decisions. That never changes any time in your business. So don't wait. Like the faster you can get good information and make good decisions, the better off you're going to be and the faster you're going to grow. So see you, Joe.
Luke Lewis's question is Chris Rowland.
Here's a question. Okay.
Chris Rowland is a little short munchkin man. That's what Chris Rowland is.
Is that little bitch on there?
No, he's not on there. He's
Luke is on here and calling him out. He's
Yeah.
calling him out.
So for guys who are just starting a business and they want to make sure their books are legit and as clean as possible, and maybe they're in a position where they can't afford or they can't justify getting a legitimate bookkeeper, how would you suggest classifying things? Because you know, now that I use you, you have a very elaborate
What is
breakdown.
that over there?
You
Oh
broke
my
the
god, I just
bottle.
broke your bottle.
You broke my bottle.
Well, that was embarrassing.
Sorry.
Don't drink that
I was
beer.
on into a good question too. So rude. Anyway,
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
anyway,
God damn it, Bobby. I kind
Dan-
of do want to look up. That'll work.
so Dan breaks my books down very elaborate. So every category has.
Can I get some ice in my beer?
Every category
Don't drink it.
has
Why?
subcategories, so on and
glass
so
in there.
forth.
My daughter chewed on
My
glass
question,
all the time.
my question to him was, how could somebody classify their books in the most simple way possible, like just doing it by themselves? What were like some key categories you would just stick with for power washing?
I mean, cost of
First,
goods.
you've got
And as little categories as easy
you've got
maintenance as
telemarketing,
possible.
you've got railroads, light companies, and
Are you
food-
talking about
food-
Monopoly? He's
I-
talking about Monopoly, utilities, and you
right,
roll
this
for
line
the
is
double.
over.
I've been drinking.
So,
I've been drinking.
We're not getting anywhere, boys.
in reality, hold on. Let me plug this. SendJim now has an accounting masterclass. With it, you get a free chart of accounts download
right.
that gives you the entire chart of accounts to upload
Not you,
into your
that John.
QuickBooks. So get on QuickBooks Online. The categories are pretty self-explanatory.
It's
if
a
you
free
want to,
chart of accounts.
it is if you buy the course that tells you how to use it.
Oh.
So there's a course, SendJim
So
sells
there's a
it,
catch.
tells you how to use it. You get a free chart of accounts download. There's a chart of accounts in QuickBooks. And if you just need to get started and you
Could
just
you
need
use
to log
that
in,
effectively? I feel like the QuickBooks one is geared more towards different
Hey,
industries.
it
like
No,
is,
listen.
it is.
This
Retail
guy,
or
this
something.
guy asked a quick question. He goes, basically, I'm just asking, what should I use? The short answer is QuickBooks Online.
QuickBooks Online.
Use QuickBooks Online. That's kind of the standard.
Yep.
It's not kind of the standard. It is the
It's
standard.
the
Or
standard.
the Gorilla.
So use QuickBooks Online.
Private message me because I can get it to you for cheaper than you can get it yourself. Save $10 a month. It's $120 a year.
So quick question, guys.
It's a lot of Michelob Ultras.
Everyone's got a
Over
comment.
1,000 in 10 years.
Dan's given a lot of free value here. A lot of great value. So here's what I want from you guys. A quick comment.
And like the video.
Who do you think the coolest guy in this video is? Just say Bob. Go ahead.
Ugh. Nobody's commenting, Bobby.
Well, it's obviously John because I have more subscribers.
That's hurtful. That's really hurtful.
People just like me more.
That
You're a
hurts.
likable guy. You're a likable guy.
Thank you, Dan.
Maybe they feel sorry for you. Oh, fuck you, let it shine.
He's a John for
Inferiors.
sure.
I hate you.
Thank you, mine.
I don't.
Oh wait, what finger is that pointing at?
Yeah, you're pointing
The
to all
middle
of us.
guy. He's
All
pointing
of
to me.
us. I mean, no, I think that was me because I'm the
How
farthest
would
one
you
this
handle
way.
a customer that is upset? I'm just going to stop right there. You look at that customer in the eyes and you say, fuck you, customer. That's what you say to them.
Especially, especially that personal touch of customer.
When you, I
Customer.
really want to read the rest.
Mr.
I just want to be clear,
Customer.
guys. I've been drinking. Don't take my advice right now.
You know somebody with a lyric,
Duh.
call that guy up.
Why did you have to preface that with "I've been drinking"?
Bobby told me to go.
Some type of disclaimer.
Read
I
that
can't
question.
That's
understand
tricky.
this question.
I mean, I think what it's getting at is like, how much expectation do you need to set to alleviate the shitty customer that's just trying to take advantage of you? Like, how much is common sense, and how much do you need to set the stage ahead of time so that you alleviate people being assholes?
Yeah, I think you just gotta keep it simple. A lot of people get caught up in wanting to make contracts and agreements and all this crazy shit, and it's just not realistic. But if you just keep your estimates simple and try to lay it out, cover your corners, but it's also something you kind of learn in time. You know, you'll come across a customer that takes advantage of you, and then you're like, okay, now we got to make that clear.
Thanks,
in our
Bill.
estimates.
I saw that one.
I saw
I
it
got to
too.
vote. I got to
I'm not
vote.
impressed, Bill.
All I wanted was one, man. I'm pretty happy.
Somebody
Well,
asked how we're
I
liking
mean,
Arizona.
we didn't include Dan in the options because we knew he would have won, so it was just between me and Bobby.
Yeah,
Oh, I
just,
see how it is.
just between Opie and Bobby.
Cool.
Opie was my favorite character, though, so just so you know.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you said you loved me on the other live, so
Dan, Bobby is drunk. Get him to.
Arizona's dope. I want to move here.
What? I don't know. Oh, have you got.
What does that one say?
Oh, quick question. I do have something valuable to
How you
add
guys
to
like
this.
Arizona? Oh, Rusty.
Oh, that's Rusty.
Bobby's
book his
joke.
flight for the next ice fishing. Yeah, now
Guys,
we're gonna
hey,
take advantage of him right now.
I do want
Let's
to
get
ask
him
one
ice
thing.
fishing again.
Dan, you would agree the Heady story is probably the best combination of accounting and motivational speak.
I mean, just in terms of like pure,
I don't even
like,
know the Heady story.
morality.
Yeah. Guys, here's the thing. You guys, there's 2 streams going on, this stream and this stream. If we can get 10 likes from right now, I'll share the Heady story. If not, we don't have to.
Oh, man, I'm gonna
it's
need
your
another beer.
choice.
Yeah.
If you want to hear the Heady story, 10 likes. If we don't, no big deal. So, we got one over here. We've got 1 like so far. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. I'm cool.
No.
Either way.
If people don't want to see it, it's cool.
Yeah, if they don't want to see it, it's no big deal.
I don't know the story, so I'd like to hear it.
I
2.
mean, it'll be tough to. We probably won't get 10.
1,
Oh,
2.
Bobby's
Josh
wife is
Gray is
concerned you
watching,
guys
so
will
he
lose
might
10 minutes of your
vote
life.
for it.
Wait, listen to
There
this.
was a
3.
like.
So we got 3 likes.
That was probably Josh.
4 likes. 5 likes.
Already liked. Oh, there's
6 likes. What does...
How are you counting the likes on Facebook? I don't
What's
see it.
Dan's
No.
channel? How do you contact him for
Beer
10%
7.
off? Go to Bookkeeping Beer and BS group on
8.
Facebook.
9, 10,
And,
11, 12,
get on there.
13.
Oh
Okay,
shit!
we got them.
Oh shit! It's Eric and Josh.
Joe,
I appreciate all those likes. That looks really good on my Facebook.
Joe,
group.
is
Thanks,
that
guys.
LOL
Appreciate
a
it.
like, Joe? All right, so not you, Joe. The other Joe. You're subtle.
But you can LOL if you want. I'm not saying you
So,
can't.
guys, listen. Are you going to let me tell the story since they've been asking for it?
I'm loving. I'm just loving the thumbs ups.
I like it. Okay.
Digging those
So
thumbs
here's the
ups.
deal.
Mom, I did so
Now,
good.
in all seriousness, guys, I can't do it if I'm going to get interrupted because it's a pretty long. It's a pretty long story. You know, it's like it takes a lot. It takes a lot out of me.
Let's do it. We ain't got nothing better to do.
Okay. So before I get into it,
This is what Bookkeeping Beer and BS is all about.
It is.
Absolutely.
You've
This
already
is the bullshit.
I haven't started
critical.
yet, and you've interrupted me.
Needs to be a combination of all
Yeah,
of them.
kind of like.
But
every
seriously, for
time.
their
Yeah.
sake, I can't be interrupted. For their sake, it's not for me; it's for them.
All right.
Okay. So here's the deal, guys. Before I get started, for everyone that is watching, I need you to trust me. I swear to God, I'm not lying to you. If you'll wait, I'm gonna think this guy's full of shit, but this is not a made-up story. I swear on everything that's good and holy, like this is just a good story. Okay?
And there's a lot of stage to be set.
So, first thing is a lot of you guys probably don't
Castle,
know
yes.
this story
Right?
because you know how like on the news cycles, like there's that 24-hour news cycle. So a big story breaks, but then like no matter how big it is, the following day something else breaks, so you're not all of a sudden remembering yesterday. So that's what happened with this. So this happened in the early 80s. And do you guys remember like the baby Jessica story?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
So baby Jessica was a girl
Bill,
down
it's
in
live.
Texas. Baby Jessica was a girl down in Texas that fell in a well.
I'd look it up, but my phone is being
Yeah.
used, so I can't confirm.
Yeah, it was like
that
in the
it was a real
mid-80s.
thing,
I got a
but-
phone.
And
Yeah.
so baby Jessica, she kind of overshadowed this Heady story. But what happened with Heady,
Fell in a well?
Jessica,
Heady didn't fall.
baby
well.
Jessica fell in a
Baby
well.
Jessica, yeah.
Fell in a
So
well.
Heady was born, let's see here. So let's say if it was 85, 75, 60. So Heady was born in the early 60s, early to mid 60s. And
Baby Jessica, you got her.
In the 80s. Late
Yeah.
80s.
He was
Yeah,
just
she was
showing,
in the 80s, yeah.
He was showing the baby Jessica story, yeah.
Yep.
So Heady was born in like the mid 60s, and this is the part that you guys will not believe, but just if you don't believe me, I'm okay with it. Frankly, I'm okay with it if you don't believe me, but it's the honest God truth.
Holy shit, it's real.
So he,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
telling
real.
you.
It's a real fucking story, man.
So so when he was born, he was and still is to this day a medical anomaly that is not understood by the scientific or medical community. So when he was born in the mid 60s, his mom had like a normal pregnancy, but when he was born, he was literally born as just a head. Now I'm going to back up for a second and say it again. Just a head. So he had no body. He didn't have a neck. He didn't have an abdomen. Didn't have a torso. Nothing. And that's the part that nobody believes. But he was able to was able to live. The medical mystery is how could he breathe? They didn't know. How is he able to survive? They don't know. But his brain functioned just fine. But when he was born, the doctors, went to the parents, and they were like, Mr. and Mrs. Heady. I don't really remember their names. Heady is obviously the nickname that I'm giving this kid. They were like, listen, this is a tragedy. Clearly, your son's not going to, make it. And this was the 60s, so they were kind of weird. And they were like, hey, you can go ahead and just go home. We'll do this is my words, not theirs. The dirty work. They'll take care of this baby that's not going to make it through the night.
Abortion.
And well, no, but so anyway, so Mr. and Mrs. Heady, they were like, no, this is our baby. We are going to give him the best life that he can have, and if that's a few hours, that's fine. This is our baby boy. So I don't know how they knew he was a boy, but they knew. And so anyway, they stayed through the night, and the next morning, he's still alive. He's strong. He's flourishing as a newborn could. And I'm going to make this story kind of short for you guys. Okay, so let me kind of wrap it up here a little bit. So they take him home about a week later. All right, so they get to take him home. The doctor's like, well, you might as well be able to go home and live a normal life.
Heady life.
As normal as you can, with your baby. And so they take him home, and just kind of as life goes on here, Heady starts to grow up, and excuse me.
Are you doing your live thing?
Nope.
Yes, Lord.
Oh, now he did it.
So Heady grows up, and
John, right out.
oh, sorry, John. Heady starts to grow up, and he's living a pretty normal life, as normal as possible. He's in school now. He's in elementary school. He's in middle school. But as you can imagine, kids are cruel. Kids are cool. So you've got this kid that has a physical disability. He's just ahead, and kids are just mean to him. They're picking on him. They don't have any empathy, and they wouldn't let him do anything in school. The only sport he ever got to play was kickball. They didn't do any kind of shit with him.
Nobody washed his playground equipment for him.
Yeah, and he starts to get a little jaded. He's in high school, and again, no friends. Kids are mean to him. The only people that really love him are his parents. And
Dude, I hate
but even with his parents being involved with this, he's just a jaded person. And it's
Brilliant.
every year, an example, Christmas would roll around every year. So his parents would go up and get him from his room, put him down on his little pillow that they always set him on, and then they'd give him a present to unwrap with his mouth. And before we'd unwrap it, he'd be like, "Let me guess, it's another fucking hat." You know what I mean? It's just that was just so that's just kind of the life that he had lived. But here's where the story starts to change. Here's where the story gets good and inspirational. So Heady goes to college. So he graduates high school, he goes to college, and basically it's the first time in his life that he interacted with people that were not his parents that started to accept him just for being a person. And because Heady was pretty old, he got held back a handful of times in regular school. He went to Head Start, but they held him back. He had to do Head Start 3 times. So he's a little older. So he gets to college, and
That's ironic.
He's
I think that's ironic.
He's 20 years old when he's in college, his freshman year. Well, he gets in a frat house, and the frat brothers they accept him just as a normal person. Okay, let me make this short. Okay, so let me get to the end here. He's in college for a year. He turns 21. He turns 21. And so Heady has never had a drink of alcohol because, as you can imagine, his mom was pretty protective, more than the typical mom. A little overprotective,
Which is sufficient.
yeah. So he's never been able to do any kind of crazy stuff. So he's at college, which the college that he went to was only about an hour from his hometown. But his buddies are like, dude, Heady, you're drinking tonight. We're going to take you out. We're going to get you drunk. It's going to be awesome, And Heady's like, hey, I'm up for this. He's ready for a good time. So they take him to the local college bar, the little college corner, campus area. And they go to the bar. They put Heady's pillow on the bar. They set Heady on his pillow, And they say, our buddy turned 21, you know, and the bar's like, woo, you know, they're all going crazy. And the bartender's like, he's 21 today, first shot's on me. Okay? Now this is where the story starts to get crazy. Excuse me, hold on just a second. So here's where the story gets a little crazy. So they take Heady, the bartender, takes a shot right on the table.
Convenient prop you got
His
there.
buddy,
Yeah.
one of his buddies, frat boys, tips him back, pours a shot right down his mouth. Okay? And, okay, second time you guys are not going to believe me on this story. Fucking go with me. You've been listening this long, okay?
You gotta stick it out.
They put the shot in his mouth. Next thing you know, like a clap of thunder, a fucking cloud of smoke fills the entire room. This bar, it's a good sized college bar, like 150 people can be in this bar. So it's a pretty big bar for a college town. And the whole bar's full of smoke. Everyone's like, what the hell's going on? It's not like fire smoke. People aren't like coughing and gagging, right?
Magic smoke.
Yeah, it's kind of like dry ice kind of thing.
Okay.
But they can't see anything. And it took about 10 minutes for the smoke to clear, okay? Well, the smoke clears, and they're like, what the hell just happened? Everyone's kind of like dazed, and they notice Heady wasn't on his pillow anymore. Like, Heady, how the hell did you fall off your pillow? So they go to set him back on it, and then they noticed, guys, Heady now had a neck. So they gave him a shot, tip him back, give him a shot. Smoke fills the room.
Every time you take a shot.
Smoke clears. Now he's got a neck.
Okay.
Now everyone's kind of like perplexed, like what the hell is going on here? And one of the frat boys, he got it right off the bat. He goes, every time Heady takes a drink of alcohol, he gets a new body part. He's never had a drink of alcohol before. And everyone was like, oh my God.
Game on.
Okay?
Yeah.
So they're like, bartender, give him another shot. Now here's the bad part. Heady's never had a drink of alcohol in his life, and he's a head. So he's had one shot. He's hammered.
Sure.
He's like, this is fucking awesome. You know, like he couldn't talk, right? So they're holding Heady up because he can't like balance. It's kind of like bouncing a broom,
Sure.
you know, upside down, you know.
Yeah.
So
Just like that.
yeah, so they lean Heady back. Next shot, everyone's kind of like, what's going to happen? Pour the shot down his throat now because he has the throat, and smoke fills the room.
Yeah.
It takes about 10 minutes again. Everyone's like, what? What's going on? This is crazy. Smoke clears. Heady now is laying on the bar.
Whoa.
Head, neck, abdomen, torso. He's
Shoulders?
laying on, kind of shoulders, right?
Hard to imagine.
So now
Hard to even
everyone is
imagine
like,
what that would look like.
okay, shit just got real, okay? So at this point, frat boys calling Heady's dad, you guys got to get down here right now. Get in your car, speed. I know it's an hour away. Get here in 20 minutes, right? Someone else is in the back of the bar. They're calling the local news station. Dude, this guy was born as a head. He just had 2 shots of like Irish whiskey, and he's now got a torso. Okay, so like it's just
This is a big deal.
it is pandemonium in this place right now.
It's a big deal.
So
Has the smoke cleared yet?
no, well after the second shot, yes.
Okay.
So anyway, so now they another shot hits the table. Bartender puts it down. Now he's just laying down. Heady's basically already almost dead from alcohol poisoning at this point, right?
yeah.
So they put a shot in his mouth. It clears. He's got now like an arm down to his elbow. They give him another shot. Smoke. It clears. Another arm down. So we're like, this keeps happening. The local news crew is there. Okay, live news. It's now like all over the fucking pardon my French. It's all over the country. The whole country's watching. Mom and dad are there. Mom is just like bawling. Okay, Mom is crying because her son is just like this amazing thing's happening. Dad, he's just kind of beaming with pride. He's like, my son getting a new lease on life. He's like, I'm gonna be able to play catch with him the real way, now. You know what I mean? It's like he's just so happy. Frat brothers are high-fiving each other. They're all happy that he, they've done something good. So they keep doing shot, smoke clears. arm down to his wrist, down to the other wrist, hand, finger, 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 finger. Then another shot, smoke clears down to his knee, shot, smoke clears down to his other knee. So it's been going for a long time. And I'm not going to lie, Heady's basically dead. He's basically got food poisoning at this point.
Food
And-
poisoning or alcohol,
alcohol poisoning. And they're kind of weighing, they're like, do we keep
He
doing
ate some
this?
bad shellfish
Is it
right
a
in
full
between.
21-year-old body, or is it like baby body?
No,
like
it's full
fresh
21.
sprout?
Full
Okay.
21-year-old body.
Okay.
So it was really weird.
Yeah.
And he's fully naked. They put a towel over it, like a cocktail napkin over his.
Oh, that's
He
classy.
grew that at
Enough
one
to get his
point.
junk
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's got his junk.
Got a cocktail nap.
So here's the thing.
Good thing we clarified
They
that
get all the way
for
down.
the 3 people that are still watching.
Story's almost over. They get all the way down to his final toe, big toe, right foot. That's all that's left. The whole, all the college students, they're chanting, Heady, Heady, Heady. They're so excited for this guy. So excited for Heady. Mom is still in tears, but just super happy. Dad he doesn't know what to do with himself. Beaming with pride. He wants to cry, but he's like the kind of guy that just doesn't cry, you know. And it's just been amazing. So the bartender puts his hands up because everyone's chanting, Heady, Heady, Heady. Bartender puts his hands up. Guys, be quiet. This is it. Silence. The bartender walks up to the bar. He's got a shot. The news camera, live, nationwide news, zooming in on Heady, who's basically looking like this right now. I mean, he's just like out, right? But the camera's zooming up on him. Bartender takes the shot, hits the ground, or hits the table. Everyone erupts because like there's just so much tension. Wow! Then they're like, everyone's like, they get him quiet again.
Yeah.
And the bartender says, to Heady! And everyone takes their drink and raises it and says, to Heady!
Heady.
Right?
There we go.
And one of the frat boys, who's been giving Heady most of his shots, looks at Dad, and says, Mr. Heady, would you like to give him the last shot? And the dad's like, yeah, I'd like to do this. So Dad walks up to the bar, takes the shot. He takes his son's head, presses it with his hand, kind of holds it up. He just looks at his son, and it was like a really touching moment. It's like one of the most touching moments of like live television ever. And he just like gazes into his glossed over eyes. And he just says, I love you, son. And I'm so proud of you. Again, silence falls over the crowd. Dad pours the shot in Heady's mouth. Smoke fills the room, but this time the smoke was like 10 times thicker. So it took like 20 minutes. People are freaking out. They're like, having a hard time breathing in there. They get the smoke out of there. And then confusion starts to fill the room.
Uh-oh.
Everyone's like, what happened to Heady? Did he fall off the table? And like one of the frat guys are like, Heady didn't fall off the table. He can't fucking walk right now. He's one shot away from alcohol poisoning here, right? They're looking for Heady. He's not there. And next thing you know, the same frat boy that was like, Heady gets a drink of alcohol, he gets a new body part. He knew what happened. And he said, oh my God, guys, we lost Heady. Heady's gone.
Oh no.
And Heady had disappeared. He didn't exist anymore. And they kept giving him shots to the point where he just wasn't there. So Mom's tears of joy turned into like tears of just sorrow. She had lost her baby. The dad went from pride to sobbing, consoling his wife. Baby, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm the one that put the shot that did this to him. The frat boys, they're feeling guilty because they're like, this was our doing.
They egged it on.
Now, the news camera is still live, and the anchor was in front of the camera. And so it's looking at the anchor, you kind of got where Heady was, and the news anchor was at a loss for words. She was just like, her mouth's open, she doesn't know what to say. And then the cameraman notices the bartender, who's kind of back behind the woman. So the cameraman motions to the news anchor. He just kind of tells her to move. So the news anchor moves out of the frame, and they kind of zoom in on the bartender. Everyone is silent, as silent can be. And the bartender, he kind of like walks right up to the bar. Everyone knew, like, this guy knew what was going on. People were suspicious of him, and he sits there and he looks right in to the camera. Everyone's just thinking, what is this guy gonna say? And here's what the bartender said. He said, I guess he should have quit while he was ahead.
Shut the fuck up.
That's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Bookkeeping, beer, and
She
BS.
wasn't
Make sure you've
kidding.
done it. Yeah.
10 minutes.
Good
That's
stuff.
the BS,
That
baby.
was easily.
That is the BS.
Yeah.
I bet it was 20 minutes. You really stretched that one out. Good
Yeah.
job. Good
Yeah,
job.
Thank you very much.
That's
The
what it's all
end-
about,
The end
folks.
of that, I was like, get to the fucking point.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh, what's this guy saying? He's talking trash. Man, this guy loves to hear himself talk. Hey, Benny.
Stop while he's ahead.
Hey, fuck you, Benny.
I mean, that's kind of the whole fucking point.
Yeah, but hey, you're really smart.
Well, I feel bad for because I'm pretty sure everyone else here has heard it. This is a first for me.
Was that
so,
the first time you heard the
yeah.
Heady story? Oh, man. It gets better every time. All right, signing off. Bookkeeping, beer, and BS.
I gotta piss later.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, John. You guys are awesome.
Anytime.
Everybody have a good night. Go make some